Dearest, there are no accidents, and no explanation I offer will satisfy you. I like that.
I mean, I saw this film and it's just extraordinary.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's exquisite.
My God. Beautiful. And I mean, it's pretty hard to say this. You couldn't look more beautiful in the film. I mean, you look beautiful
None of
all
my
the time.
doing.
You look always beautiful, but there's just something about Carol that has this exquisiteness, this iconic kind of beauty that she represents, the sexuality, but also vulnerability. So
I think
I
think there's an incredible isolation and pain without need, and a world weariness, but also a wry, terrible understanding of how the world works that exists in her. And I did sort of think about her as somebody who might quietly suicide one day and no one ever know why. That there was a deep pain, no self-pity that exists in her because she just didn't fit into the world in which she found herself in.
And I love that I get at that point, at that time particularly, it was taboo.
Well, it was illegal. But also, I think, really importantly for the film is there's no language for the women to describe the feelings they have. There's a wonderful line in the novel where Therese says, "I would call what I feel for Carol love, but she's a woman." Yeah. And the fact that they don't know how to process what they're feeling.
Bon appetit. What do you do on Sundays?
Nothing in particular. What do you do?
Oh, nothing lately. Maybe you'd like to come visit me sometime.
I think at the start of the film, she's this young girl who sort of seemingly has her life together. She has this boyfriend who on paper is probably what you would want in a boyfriend back then, and this group of friends and this job. But I think she feels sort of different than everyone and alone in a way and unfulfilled in her life, but isn't really sure why or what else she wants out of life. And then Carol comes in and sort of flips her life upside down, and I think it's very much for both women a coming-of-age story.
Yeah. Was it challenging for you? I mean, you're playing with another woman, romantic. I mean, there's also, an intimate scene with Rooney. How did you approach it? Was it challenging for you?
Not because of the gender.
Yeah.
I think because of the emotional subtlety in the film and the restraint, the surface restraint, but the volcanic nature of their feelings for one another. That was the tricky balancing thing. Yeah. I mean, I didn't once find the gender thing an issue because it felt like it was just something that it bypassed psychology. It was happening to them, which happens when you fall in love with whoever you fall in love with.
What's so interesting about Carol is that you are reading her in all of these different layers, basically, because we first are seeing her sort of through Therese's eyes. And so you're sort of reading the image of Carol before you get to the real woman, the complicated woman behind that image. And Cate has to play all of those layers. And she manages to navigate that so seamlessly. But the film wouldn't work if Cate played Carol with too much availability, too intimately to the audience right away. She has to be a little indecipherable, a bit mysterious, a bit ambivalent, as a character, or ambiguous. And that dance I just find to be so masterful. And the language of the film rests on that.
What themes do you think are relevant today in this? I mean, we're still talking about this a lot, aren't we?
Well, I do think the progress we've made can't be overstated, and I think we have to feel good about the progress that many Western countries have been making. That said, there are many places still globally that have far to go, if anything, if they're not in retreat, like in the Soviet Union. But I think what's maybe, the thing that I wasn't ever interested in making a things are so much better now movie. Yeah. I really wanted to. There's something mysterious and powerful about a time when there isn't even a language for how you feel, and so you feel like you're inventing it as you go along. And that was definitely true for these women.
The most breathtaking of gifts.